Hi, everyone. I'm Nathan Day, one of the co-founders of BTC Map. So we're going to be talking about all things maps and spending Bitcoin today. So yeah, about 30% of my presentation today is going to be memes of HODLing versus spending Bitcoin, or SPEDN. And that's what we're here to do with BTC Maps, is to encourage the spending of Bitcoin wherever you are across the world. So our mission is threefold, really: to drive merchant adoption, to enable circular economies, and to just normalize Bitcoin, to normalize asking merchants around the world, cash or Bitcoin. So just a little bit of history then. White paper, famously, is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Satoshi did not talk about it as a peer-to-peer savings system at all. And a comment here as well from some of the early Bitcoin chat rooms where Satoshi's talking about paying for goods and services using a mobile phone and a QR code. This is way before this was possible, and certainly way before any layer 2 solutions like Lightning as well. So this thing that was invented, the best money that humanity has ever created, was meant to be used. It's there as a utility, not just to hold. So let's look at the three core functions of money: medium of exchange, store of value, unit of account. So this is where we're focused in terms of medium of exchange, enabling people to exchange value between each other, which is a core form of a function of money. These three properties of money are ordered. So for money to be useful, it has to be a good store of value, number one. And I think Bitcoin's already proved that case over the long term. After that, then comes the ability to use it as a medium of exchange. And then finally, people start to think in sats, so have it as a unit of account. Now, I think we're kind of between 1 and 2 in terms of Bitcoin adoption at the moment. Store of value is absolutely proven, and we're now trying to make it a globally accepted medium of exchange. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on here at BTC Map. And also to think about opportunity cost. People think, oh, I spent X amount of pounds or dollars on that Bitcoin years ago, and if I sold that Bitcoin now, or if I exchange that Bitcoin for goods and services now, then I'm going to be spending 10 times what what it cost me to acquire the Bitcoin in the first place. That's a fallacy, really, because the opportunity cost of holding fiat is the same as the opportunity cost of spending Bitcoin. So if you're going to buy the thing anyway, and you've got fiat to buy the thing with, then you're short Bitcoin anyway. So the actual money that you're using to buy a good and services is irrelevant. So I think as we move to more of a Bitcoin standard, then using Bitcoin in our day-to-day lives, whether that's with merchants or sending zaps on Nostra, just use the thing that's been created. So trying to get the spend and meme going, and replacing, or even not fighting, the HODL meme. So on to BTC Maps more specifically. So the problem that we found, and we started BTC Maps about 9 months ago, really, there was no single place that I could go online to find places to spend sats. So there were lots of smaller, like Google Maps, sometimes around particular communities, but there was no one single place that I could go to find places to spend sats. A lot of the existing solutions out there were closed walled gardens, proprietary, a lot of ATM noise on the maps as well. So you might have 10% merchants, 90% ATMs. And a lot of them had a bunch of shitcoins on there, lots of crypto advertising, go to my exchange. So there was no clean Bitcoin way to do this. And one of the reasons is because it's hard, right? You've got to maintain an ever-changing data set globally and do that in a way that is kind of not centralized, really, and try and push the responsibilities down to different communities to maintain that data. So that was the problem. And then we think the solution is BTC Map. So it's a Bitcoin-only map. There's no shitcoinery there at all. Even if people or merchants accept Bitcoin, but it's via some sort of wallet that requires KYC, so like the Binance wallet, for example, that's not a valid location on our map. You have to natively be able to spend Bitcoin. So that Bolt 11, Bolt 12, Lightning invoices, on-chain, anything else, it's not Bitcoin. And of course, open source software, so our entire software stack is open source. But crucially, the data that we hold in the platform, so all of the merchant information, is open data as well. So that means anyone can use the data that we're collecting globally around merchants to build out their applications in whatever way they want. So there's already a couple of examples of that, where people are embedding the map data into like vehicle charging applications. Wallet of Satoshi have embedded BTC Map into their wallets, the world's largest custodial Lightning wallet. So it's being used by other people in order to make their applications more feature-rich as well. And then the other thing that we recognize is that we have to connect into existing communities, but also build new communities out. And so one of the features of the map is not only merchants and their locations, but communities and their geographic areas. I'll come on to the community bit in a while. So the combination of the open source software and the open source data with the communities enables us to scale quickly without being overly centralized. And of course, layer zero, Bitcoiners, like this stuff doesn't happen without you guys getting out there, spending sats, reporting merchants that are outdated, adding new merchants, orange pilling your local bars and restaurants. That's how we get to widespread adoption. There's just another meme for you guys to cut through the presentation. So we're not saying don't HODL, but we're saying SPEDN and HODL. So we're relatively new. So back in Baltic honey badger, so this was about 9 months ago, I was looking for places to spend sats, couldn't find one. So I sat down and made the world's worst website on the front row of Baltic honey badger, using some HTML skills from like the mid-90s or something. So very quickly, just through the power of social media and Bitcoiners, we had a couple of collaborators come on like within a couple of days or so, and we've gone from a really crappy website to a really slick web app that we have now, which is fully progressive, works on mobile devices, works offline, and we also have native iOS and Android clients on all of the different app stores as well. So really, in quite a short period of time, we've come a long way. So that's on the tech side, but if you see on the bottom here, we started with lots of legacy locations in the database that we use. So we use OpenStreetMap, which is basically like Wikipedia for maps. So that's where we store all of the merchant information. And going back to 2014, there were a lot of merchants added back then. And a lot of those merchants were either no longer in business or didn't accept Bitcoin anymore, or had started accepting shitcoins and got wrecked and don't want to deal with Bitcoin. So we've gone through, with our communities around the world, an exercise of cleansing that data. So we started out with over 7,000 legacy locations, and we've more than half that now in that time period. So I think maybe by our 1-year anniversary, we'll have 100% up-to-date merchants, which means a better user experience for people using the maps. So this is the map. And if you want to switch to the browser, we can show the live version of the map. And this is a great tool you can use when you're orange pilling your merchant. And by orange pilling your merchant, I don't mean making them a Bitcoin maxi overnight. I'm talking about, does that merchant want extra business? Because Bitcoiners are going to come and spend Bitcoin with you in the local area, and those visiting will come and find places, go out of their way to find places to spend Bitcoin. And so this is a really good tool. You can just pull it out. You can show the merchant, hey, look, there's 20 guys in your area that accept Bitcoin. Do you want to go on the map? And then that's a start of a conversation with that merchant to say, OK, let's get Bitcoin accepted here. If you want to click on the actual bistro link, if you zoom back out, or yeah, click on the name of the merchant at the top. Yeah. So every merchant gets their own website as well. So if you're a small corner shop or a local cafe and you maybe not have a web presence, then automatically and for free, you get your own web page on BTC Map. You can also link that in with your point of sale system, so you can accept payments through your website. So it's quite a powerful tool, especially when you put your QR code on social media, and we have people tipping merchants from all over the world, down in El Salvador, for example. OK, back to the presentation, please. So just some more numbers for you. Number is going up slowly and steadily. So this is the up-to-date merchants. We're approaching 5,000. Total merchants now going up towards 10,000 globally. So every day, new merchants are being added, and any merchants that are no longer accepting Bitcoin or are stale, we remove. But the trend is up and to the right. So I also wanted to talk a little bit more about communities, because they're a really important part of the BTC Maps story. So we have 341 of those globally at the moment. They're split across all of the continents. And it's a real privilege, actually, to see global adoption happen almost in real time, because we get all of the data coming in from merchants, but also from communities. So yeah, if you're ever looking at the Bitcoin price and you don't feel so good that particular day, just open BTC Map and you'll see the real signal, which is people using Bitcoin globally. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of communities. So Bitcoin Island in Boracay, I think they were speaking yesterday. They came onto the scene just as we were coming onto the scene about 9 months ago. They were basically our beta tester for adding new merchants to the map. So they went from like 0 to over, I think they're up to about 300 now, merchants on what is a tiny island in the Philippines. So you can live off Bitcoin on this island. And they're also a sponsor of ours as well. So I don't think BTC Map would be where it is today if we hadn't have had that early support from this very important community. A couple on the African Spotlight, and I'm going to miss loads of communities out here. I can't talk about all 350 odd of them. But we have the guys down in Mossel Bay, Bitcoin Akasi. They got 14 locations in their township, and that's a real circular economy they're building there. People are earning in Bitcoin and spending in Bitcoin. And they painted a massive BTC Map logo on the sides of one of their merchants just a couple of weeks ago, so that was cool to see. Whitstand is not too far away from them. They're class of 23, so this year, and they're already up to 18 locations in their community. Now this one is amazing. People have probably not heard of Bitcoin Yeki. They came out of nowhere about 2 months ago. So their first, I think this was a Nostra post back in February, and then their Twitter account's like 2 months old or something. They've gone from 0 to over 100 merchants in the last 2 months. So you can now, in the southeast corner of Brazil, you can now live off Bitcoin. And the speed at which these guys are moving is unreal. So this is a slide I've stolen from the guys at Galoy, who are just kind of generally plotting out some of the more circular Bitcoin economies and communities. These guys down in Arnhem were the true OGs back in, I think it was actually 2014, but you know, who's counting? 2013, 2014, it's fine. But you can see that we've got this explosion of communities now, and it's communities that are driving adoption locally on the ground. So SPEDN's coming to get HODL, like it or not. So just to finish up now, how can you help? So join or start a local community, even if you're just one guy or girl in a bar or a cafe on your own for the first 2 months. Just start, and people will join. When you're paying for things, just simply ask cash or Bitcoin. Just normalize the use of the word Bitcoin. It's not a secret, just ask. They'll say no, fine. If you want to contribute, if you're a software engineer or coder, you can contribute to any of the back-end or front-end applications that we have. It'd be great to have you guys on board and pushing PRs. But you don't have to be a coder. So we have this team of shadowy super taggers who help verify the data on the map. So you can look at your local area. If there's particular things that are out of date or there are new merchants, you can very easily tag that data on the map, and you don't have to be a software engineer. So for those of you looking to contribute to Bitcoin, because we all have to do something, right? But are not coders, then this is a really good way that you can help Bitcoin adoption and Bitcoin movement in more general. And finally, just SPEDN. Just go out there and spend your Bitcoin. Replace your Bitcoin for sure, but go spend it. Okay, that's all from me. There's a couple of handoffs here. I'll be over at the Lightning Gaming area for the next 2 days. So come play some Lightning games or come talk to me about maps. All right, thanks, guys.